Welcome to another top secret episode of Monday Movie Pickup. I've been holding on to a couple of these for a few weeks now, but there was also recently the Criterion sale at Barnes & Noble, as well as an Arrow video sale, which is not as prestigious, but there are definitely still some titles that you can catch there. One is 12 Monkeys, so this is the 4K edition. It was the only Blu-ray that was available at the store, so I figured, why not? I'll just get the 4K. Arrow's been doing a great job of re-releasing a lot of their older titles on 4K recently. And this is, surprisingly, for being a fan of both Brad Pitt and time travel movies, I've never seen this, and I don't know the reason as to why I've been holding off so long to see it. There's actually a lot of stuff from Terry Gilliam in general that I have not seen. And then here's another one, Lake Michigan Monster. So this was actually not bought with the sale. This was bought separately on Amazon, but this is actually going to be an upcoming Patreon request. I know nothing about this movie, but I was told that it's pretty funny. The back cover mentions Sam Raimi, Mystery Science Theater 3000. It's like, okay, this is definitely my type of movie. So thank you for requesting that. I'm very excited to see it. We have a couple Batman movies here, as I've continued to finish my Batman collection. Here's Lego Batman, the movie. This is the second one, I believe. I think there was another one that came out beforehand, or it might have been after. I know there's at least two of these, though, that are released on Blu-ray, not including the Lego Batman movie, which was released through Warner Animation Group. So these are just the different spin-offs that Lego would create a couple of years ago. I don't know if they still make these, but I never really had any interest in them. I was more interested in just watching the theatrical released Lego movies that Warner Animation Group was doing, and I believe they are now moving to a different studio, so hopefully we'll see more of those in the future. But regardless, since I've been collecting Batman movies, and this actually even has a Blu-ray release, surprisingly, might as well get it as a Batman fan. Here's Batman Gotham by Gaslight. Surprisingly, I had not owned this movie yet. This is a few years old now. Here's Batman Mystery of the Batwoman. This one kind of annoys me because this is technically a sequel to the Batman animated series from the 90s. This was released, I believe, in 2003. It does have the late, great Kevin Conroy. May he rest in peace. But yeah, this one, I believe, is technically a sequel. So why it was not included with the Batman animation... so why it wasn't included in the Batman animated series Blu-ray collection, I have no idea. They included Sub-Zero and Mask of the Phantasm, but not this. So I guess, you know, maybe Batman fans in the comments, let me know the reasoning as to why they wouldn't include that. But to me, it's like, this is kind of the final chapter of that series, in a way. I know Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill, and probably some of the other voice actors, returned many times for a lot of direct-to-video animated stuff, but still, I just can't figure out why that wasn't included. I was actually shocked by its existence when I was trying to finish my Batman list. Scooby-Doo and Batman, the Brave and the Bold. So this is another thing where this series has actually been released on Blu-ray, but this movie was not included. Granted, I think this movie actually came out a few years after the series had been done, so I guess I can understand it in that regard, but at the same time, I think the Blu-rays came out after this release came out, so as to why they wouldn't have included this, I don't know. Those are technically season releases. I don't think they ever did a complete series release, so maybe Warner Archive will do one at some point, because there is no Blu-ray release for this movie. So I don't really know what to expect with this one, but I know that the Brave and the Bold was a goofier series, so seems like that would work well with Scooby-Doo. I have here Queen of Outer Space, and the only reason I got this, it's just hilarious that it's been released. This is a horribly reviewed movie, but this was often paired with Frankenstein 1970 as a double feature. So once I watched that movie, I figured I should pair it up with this movie, take a night and watch them back to back, just like they did in the 50s at the drive-thru. Maybe I'll set up the projector and people can park their cars and we'll all watch Queen of Outer Space and Frankenstein 1970. And then we move on to the Criterions. Here is Island of Lost Souls. So one of the classic, you could call it a horror movie. I think it's often included with that list. Bela Lugosi, of course, is in this movie. And I think this is actually a Paramount release. I believe, yeah, so it does say Universal on the back, but I think this movie was originally released by Paramount, but then Universal got the rights to it. But Universal doesn't include this with some of their other Blu-ray releases that they've done with Shout Factory, or their, Monster Collection. Obviously, this is not one of the monster movies. So this is the weird one-off where it's released through Criterion, which, fine enough. It's the same situation with the old Dark House, another one that is released, I believe that one's through Kino, so that one, actually technically Cohen Films is the one that releases that one, so these are just the weird one-offs. I have here Hoop Dreams. I've had the VHS of this movie for a long time, which, this movie runs 172 minutes. I mean, this is a nearly 3-hour movie, so it's always shocked me that the VHS I own is only one tape. Usually if a movie's that long, it would take 2 VHS tapes, so I've never understood that, but I've always meant to get the Blu-ray of it anyway. This is, of course, the highly regarded documentary film from the 90s. I think Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel consider this the best movie of 1994 is when it came out, so I've been meaning to see this for a long time. Here's one of the more recent Criterion releases, Arsenic and Old Lace. I've caught up with some of the other Cary Grant comedies from the 30s and 40s, same with some of the Jimmy Stewart stuff, but I have not seen Arsenic and Old Lace. All kinds of production details. It's funny when Criterion decides, how are we going to do this one? Is it going to be a booklet? Is it going to be just a spread like this? Sometimes it's a poster. You never know what you're going to get with Criterion. I have passed up this release many times, Vampyr, but it's cool because not only does it come with the Blu-ray, of course, which itself has detailed notes about the production of the film, which is very cool, but it also includes this entire write-up, which is the screenplay for Vampyr. But sometimes the packaging, they'll sell out, and then eventually they'll change the packaging to a typical jewel case. So I've been passing this one up at the sale for many years. The box always got me very interested, so I finally bought it. And here is the magnificent Ambersons, Orson Welles, what people consider to be the second best Orson Welles film. And actually, speaking of like inserts for the Criterion sets and what they decide to do, this one, it says it's the screenplay, but it looks like it's more just production notes. So I think it's just meant to look like it is a screenplay. But they even went as far as to staple the sides of it, which I thought was very interesting. Like, these are just legit staples. As far as Orson Welles goes, people talk about Touch of Evil, Magnificent Ambersons, and Citizen Kane. I've only seen Citizen Kane, but actually there's another one called The Stranger, which I was doing that 200 film Mill Creek box set, and The Stranger is still one of the best movies to come out of that. So, if you're an Orson Welles fan, definitely check out The Stranger. To me, I guess it would be underrated because it doesn't come up as much as those other three. We have another one here, being John Malkovich, and this is a movie I've owned on VHS for way too long. Of course, this is like one of Spike Jonze's earliest films, and I don't know why I waited so long to get this, because, I've been actively trying to upgrade all of my VHSs to Blu-ray or DVD. I've gotten very close. But every time I go on the sale, I always end up passing this one up. Every VHS I own, a Criterion Blu-ray or DVD of it exists, I now own. And then, drum roll please, yes, I finally have Cocoon. This has, of course, been one that I have been trying to track down for a long time. Famously, it is out of print. The Blu-ray goes for very high prices unless you get lucky. I know there's been some other releases in other territories, so you can still get the movie technically, but I think a lot of those releases do not have the special features. And I think there is a DVD release of it as well that's pretty easy to get, but it's this Blu-ray. Man, it's been out of print for a long time. You can't even stream the movie anywhere. You can't really purchase the movie digitally, so there's really no way to get this movie right now unless you buy a DVD, or if you get lucky and find the Blu-ray, which I finally did. Hopefully, at some point, they will do a 4K Blu-ray release of this so everybody can get it easier than what I had to go through. But yeah, it was a matter of just checking eBay a lot, and one day I finally just happened to get a very good price at an auction for it. So very happy to finally own Cocoon. Usually I don't go off buying television shows, but the reason I was so interested in this was because, well, I reviewed the movie, and I didn't really like the movie. I know a lot of people kind of consider it an underrated gem. It has a huge popularity on like Letterboxd with film fans, but it was a movie that I just didn't get. Someone did an edit on Twitter, though, a video showing every guest star that was on Miami Vice, and man, they had a ton. So many different famous people on that show. So I was like, you know what? This video alone makes me interested in watching the series. And I've heard good things. So this is from Mill Creek. Mill Creek is great at releasing older TV shows and putting them on Blu-ray, and for a very reasonable price. You can get this for a very good price right now. So at some point, I hope to dive into this. Another thing is I tried to check the streaming for this movie, and it doesn't look like it was really on a streaming service. I might be wrong about that, but regardless, I'm finally going to try to catch up with the show, see what it's all about. And that's everything this week, so thanks for watching again, and we'll see what kind of money I'm spending after Thanksgiving. Black Friday's coming. If, you know, the stores even choose to do Blu-ray sales anymore, which... Have you seen the Blu-ray section at a store recently? It's depressing. Thanks for watching the video, and special shout out to Lauren, Anthony, Anna, Kirsten, Spencer, Lucas, Ryan, and Robert for supporting me on Patreon. By joining my Patreon, you can get exclusive blogs and videos, and for just $7, you can get your own monthly movie review. I hope you stick around, Cinephile, and have a happy, productive day.